The monkey's paw. It is a cold, wet night outside. We are inside a warm, cozy house. A fire is burning brightly in the fireplace. An old man, Mr. White, and his son Herbert are playing chess. Miss White is knitting by the fire. They are expecting a visitor, Sergeant Morris, who has just come back from India. There's a knock at the door! Mr. White.
Come in. Hello.
Mr. White goes to the door and returns with a tall, red-faced man. Sergeant Morris shakes hands with everyone and goes to the fire. Okay. Pass the book to Courtney.
Ah, this feels good. It's really cold outside.
Okay. Pass the book to the next person.
Even with this bad weather, it must be good to get back home to England.
I'd love to go to India. It must be so interesting. England is so dull. Nothing exciting ever happens here.
Morris, why don't you tell us more about that monkey's paw we've heard about?
There's nothing to it really, just some strange old Eastern magic. Oh, please, tell us. It's a good night for a story. Well, it looks just like an ordinary paw. Nothing special about it.
He takes a small paw from his pocket and gives it to Herbert. Okay, Miss White.
Oh, Herbert, how can you touch that awful old thing?
It sure does look like magic. What's so special about it?
An old holy man in India put a spell on it. He wanted to show that fate rules people's lives, and that if you mess with fate, you'll get hurt. He put a spell on the paw so that 3 different men could have 3 different wishes on it.
Well, did you really get the 3 wishes?
Yes, I did. But let's not talk about it.
Has anyone else wished?
The first man had 3 wishes. I don't know what the first 2 were, but I know the 3rd wish was for death. That's how I got the paw. You mean he wished to die? And he did? Yes.
So what? It's probably just a coincidence.
I'm not so sure. If you had your 3 wishes, why don't you give the paw to someone else?
I thought of selling it, but I don't think I will. It has caused enough trouble already.
Oh. Sergeant Morris picks up the paw and throws it on the logs burning in the fireplace. Mr. White.
When you're eating, you're like filming someone else.
Don't do that! If you don't want the paw, then give it to me.
Take it, but you're a fool if you do, and don't blame me for what happens. Listen, be sensible. Burn it.
No, I want it. How do you make the wishes?
Hold it up in your right hand and wish aloud. But I warn you of the result.
Miss White gets up to make dinner. Miss White.
Why don't you wish for 4 pairs of hands for me?
If you must wish for something sensible. But I think you'll be sorry. Do you want me to just write copies out so this can be made so much easier?
Shh. The monkey's paw was forgotten during the dinner. For the rest of the evening, the Whites listened to Sergeant Morris talk about India. Sergeant Morris? Sergeant Morris?
My goodness, it's late. I've talked too much. I must be going. But before I leave, I wish you'd throw out the monkey's paw.
Don't worry, Sergeant. We'll be careful.
Crap! I left the coat on!
Sergeant Morris puts on his coat, says goodnight, and walks out the door.
Good night.
Herbert. Herbert.
I'm putting back on my coat even though I never took it off.
A magic monkey paw. How silly. Wish to be a king. Father, then mother can't boss you around.
Ha ha ha. Wish for £200 to pay off the mortgage.
Why not? Let's try it. I wish for £200.
Suddenly, he drops the paw. Mr. White.
Why not? Let's try. I moved it. It twisted like a snake. I swear it did.
Wish for It couldn't have. It's just your imagination.
I don't see any money. I guess it doesn't work.
There's no harm done, but it gave me quite a scare. Now let's go to bed and forget about magic for a while.
Scene 2. Push that out of the way. Now it is the next morning. The Whites are eating breakfast. Miss White. Other page. Yep.
Isn't it funny how in the light of day your night fears seem so foolish? That paw is really silly. How can it grant wishes? Even if it could, how could wishes hurt you?
The money could drop on your head.
Oh, Mr. White.
That's not how it happens. The wishes are granted so naturally it seems that Pa has nothing to do with it. It seems like a coincidence.
Well, have some of the money for me. I've got to get to work. So long.
Herbert goes off to work, and the day passes as usual. Later, as it's getting dark, Mr. and Mrs. White sit down to tea. Miss White.
Herbert will have a laugh when he goes home. How could a monkey's paw give us 200 pounds?
Well, the paw did move in my hand like it was alive. I felt it. What's the matter?
Miss White does not answer her husband. She is watching a man who is standing at the gate. Finally, he comes to the door. Courtney's gonna do it. As Miss White lets him in, she thinks of 200 pounds. Stranger. Whoops. That's fine.
I was asked to come here from Ma and Megan's.
Ma and Megan's. That's where Herbert works. Is anything wrong? Has anything happened to him? What is it?
Now sit down, Mother. I'm sure he hasn't brought bad news.
Stranger.
I'm sorry.
He's hurt, isn't he?
He was badly hurt, but he's in no pain.
Thank goodness, thank...
Over there. Oh. She stops when she looks at the man's face. She realizes what he had said. There is an awful silence. Mr. White.
What? What happened?
He was caught in the machinery. He was killed instantly.
Mr. White takes his wife's hands. Stranger.
company wanted me to give you their deep sympathy.
There is no answer. The old woman is pale. Her husband is hardly breathing.
Ma and Megan wish to give you some money. Your son was a good worker for them.
Mr. White drops his wife's hand. He stares with horror at the stranger. Give it to Mr. White.
How much money?
200 pounds.
Miss White screams as Mr. White faints.
Ah!
Scene 3. The Whites bury their son in the cemetery 3 kilometers away. As the days passed, they hardly spoke. They had nothing to talk about except sorrow. It is now a week after the funeral. The old man is awakened at night by his wife. Miss White.
The monkey's paw, the paw.
Where? What's the matter?
I want it. Where is it?
It's downstairs, but why do you want it?
Oh, why didn't I think of it before? It's so easy.
Think of what? What are you talking about?
The other 2 wishes. We've only had one.
Wasn't that one enough?
No, we'll have one more. Get the paw and wish for Herbert to be alive again.
My God, you're crazy.
No, I'm not. Hurry, get it and wish.
You don't know what you're saying.
The first wish came true. Why not the second?
It was just a terrible coincidence.
Go and get the paw and wish.
Mr. White goes downstairs in the dark. He feels his way to the table where the monkey's paw lies. He rushes back to the bedroom. His wife's face is terrible to see. Miss White.
Hurry, wish.
It's foolish and wicked. This paw is evil.
Wish!
I wish my son alive.
The paw falls to the floor. Mr. and Mrs. White are silent. They wait until the candle burns out. Then they go back to bed. They can't sleep. A stair creaks. A mouse runs through the wall. Mr. White takes a deep breath. He takes the matches, strikes one, and goes downstairs for another candle. At the foot of the stairs, the match goes out. There's a quiet knock at the front door. Mr. White doesn't dare breathe. The knock comes again. He turns and runs back to the bedroom. A loud knock sounds through the house. Miss White?
What's that noise?
It's a rat. Just a rat.
No, it's Herbert. It's my son.
She runs to the door. Mr. White stops her. Miss White.
Let me go. I forgot the cemetery is 3 kilometers away. That's what took him so long. I must let him in.
No, you can't let him in.
You're afraid of your own son?
There is a knock. And another. The old woman breaks free. She runs downstairs. Mr. White hears the chain on the lock rattle. Miss White?
That's me.
Yes.
The lock is stuck. I can't reach it. Come and help me.
Mr. White is on his knees. He is feeling for the paw. If he only could find it before the thing outside gets in. The knocks are coming loud and fast. He hears his wife drag a chair to the door. Just grab a chair. She climbs on the chair. He hears the bolt creak back. At the same time, he finds the paw and holds it in the air.
I wish my son back in the grave.
Suddenly, the knocking stops. The door opens. A cold wind rushes up the stairs. A long cry of sorrow comes from his wife. Gives Mr. White the courage to run downstairs. He goes out to the gate. The street lamp shines on a quiet, empty road. The end.
The end.
The end.
Come in and take a bow.
Come on. Take a bow.
Come in and take a bow.
Ready? Hold hands.
Everybody hold hands.
That was our first practice. It was awesome.
Thank you.
All right.